Got the raging storm from a trip. This thing works. No sound was sticking. Still got that shit off. Okay, so here's the unboxing. We're gonna get straight into this thing. Clear white packaging all the way around. You've got a nice legend here that kind of specifies what all of the configurations would be, all of the buttons, laid out numbers. Tells you the different platforms that you can use this on, the Nintendo Switch, Windows, Steam, and Raspberry Pi. Now, it doesn't say that you can use this on Android or iOS. I'm not sure if you can or not. It being Bluetooth, I don't know if it's a USB Bluetooth dongle or what. That could be the case because this company does manufacture USB Bluetooth dongles. So that could be the way that this works. It might be a dongle, I'm not sure. Like I said, didn't do any research on this prior to getting it. The right and the left sides of the box are just gonna be that gray with the white top. Does have a handle onto the box, so that's nice. You're able to carry it. And then the front's gonna give you that layout of what the controller looks like. This is designed like OG Nintendo. Personally, for me, I wish that these buttons were just blacked out, either black or red. I just think that they clash horribly with the aesthetic of this, but this is real nice to pay homage to the classic Nintendo. Of course, it does say Bluetooth 2.4, 8BitDo, and just kind of tells you again what this is. So first glance, my concern was that it was this small. I literally thought it was this small. So happy to see it's bigger than that, okay? There's kind of a comparison of it to the box. This isn't a bad stick at all. These are not Sanwa parts though. Stick doesn't feel too bad. As I said, they do make the receiver. Okay, so yeah, it does come with the receiver for you to be able to kind of holster that there. So you also have the female USB-C that's inside of there that the provided cable will connect you to, right? And again, this little piece of tape is kind of letting you know that's where the receiver is. So I'm not sure exactly how this works, but for Windows, you may have to plug it up, maybe even for the Switch too. Again, another legend there, kind of telling you what everything is. Let's see if I can get this a little closer. Give you a second to be able to read that if you need to. So it's kind of telling you what everything is. If you're gonna play it on the Switch, obviously switching it to the left, X input, which would be PC, to the right, having it off is just the middle. So whether or not you want analog, left to right stick is what this guy's gonna be. Pair button, turbo button, home button, and your start select, Bluetooth, or your 2.4 gigahertz connection. So yeah, this is gonna be interesting to get this, give you a look at this. It's clear tape on them. Again, not Sanwa. Hold it up to my microphone. I am interested in seeing if this thing can be opened up, and within this video I am going to open it up so we can take a look at the bottom of it. Bottom of the stick has 4 pads on it. Real like rubber material, so that's nice. Yeah, real good, so that if you're playing on a flat surface, it gives you a little bit of give so that the stick isn't just, you know, moving around and such. So I'm gonna crack this thing open so we can see what the internals look like. All right, so this is the type of screwdriver you will need, or the fit, to be able to, can we get focused there? There we go. To get this thing out of here. I took 3 screws out. I'm gonna take the next 3 out while I'm recording this, just so we can kind of do this part together. And this isn't a mass popular product. This is just one of my own personal things that I've seen, and I'm like, yeah, let me see what I can do, because I do actually have an arcade stick build project that I have coming up soon. And so I already said I'm not gonna buy the Nintendo Switch OLED, but damn it, I'm sick if I do, you know? It's like, if I do get it, something like this would be pretty cool for me to be able to utilize it. Yeah, so let me get these last two out so I'm not taking up more video time, and be right back. Okay, so literally 6 screws, right, at the bottom. First time opening this thing. All right, there we go. There we go. Okay, so there's one. Doesn't hurt, you can just disconnect that so you can separate this. From what I can tell, this can be fully modified. There's enough depth here where you should be able to get like a nice sound wave. Got this metal material here. The bulk of your weight is there, right? I don't know much about arcade sticks, but as I said, I do have a project coming up soon on the channel. That's the inside of this thing. I'm actually gonna try to see if I can get some sound buttons. I have some spares. See if I can do a modification here, right? See if I can put some sound buttons on there, and maybe even a stick. I don't know. We're gonna do that in this video though. We're gonna go to work on this thing. So let me get a flathead screwdriver so I can get this ball top off, and we'll go from there. All right, I thought it would be cool to do a sizing comparison with these two sticks. The one up top, this was Mad Catz WWE or WWF, I'm not sure what it was licensed as, that I had Victoria customized years ago, right? And so I'm actually gonna be taking, so this is an Xbox 360 stick, because of the colorways of the green, yellow, blue. I got the yellow, green, blue, right? Plus the 3 reds, then the 2 whites. I'm gonna set them here. So I'm gonna strip these 8 buttons, put them here, and then I'm gonna see if I can get the actual sound stick in here, leave the black ball top on here. Or maybe I'll put the, well, yeah, I'm gonna leave the black. But yeah, so there's a good sizing reference. So this really isn't a small stick. It's not. Comparing this to this, you have more space in between your stick to your buttons. This is a little tighter, but the layout is all that Japanese, you know, 6 buttons and 2 additionals. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop things out of this stick and then get them in here, fuse back. All right, before we get into connectivity, man, I wanted to give you guys a glimpse of what this thing looks like. Got those sandwich buttons in there all the way across. Try to contrast this out to match there. The 2 whites here to match this guy. These are the ones that's really important. And then I did swap these too. These are all older buttons, but kind of is what it is. I could not change the stick, so this is the original stick. There is a universal plate in here, so it does support you putting a sandwich stick inside. However, it does require you to solder. Number 1, I don't have the skill set. Number 2, I don't even have the equipment to try to learn, but it is pretty simple for those of you that know how to do it. It's just really plug and play. Now, you can't just direct plug in your own stick because this doesn't have like a universal connector for you to just plug and play. So you do have to solder in your own stick. As far as from what I can see, again, I haven't seen any reviews or anything. I haven't watched any videos where people might be doing the modifications to this, but the buttons went on solid. The stick doesn't feel too bad, so I'll get some games in, we'll do some connectivity, and then we'll bring this thing to a close after I give you more talking points on what I think about this arcade stick by 8BitDo. All right, now we're at my desk, so we're just gonna go over quick connectivity. I'm gonna start by doing Windows Bluetooth first. Not going to be connecting this using the dongle. The motherboard that I have in this computer is a Asus X570 Tough. So it does have integrated Wi-Fi. I don't recommend you use this method. Laptop Wi-Fi might work better, but I don't really recommend that you rely on the Wi-Fi in your motherboard for connection with this, especially if you're trying to play a competitive fighting game. So you're just gonna go over to, and I'm not gonna OBS this, as you can see. You're gonna see white screen here, but all I'm doing is going to the settings of my computer, going to Bluetooth. I'm going to add a Bluetooth device. With this arcade stick, you have a couple of, the S is for Nintendo Switch, off is off, X is for X input, right? X input is what we want because this is a Windows device. So you have that there, and you're gonna hit the Wi-Fi button. You're gonna hold that until you see this LED indicator circular going in that clockwise motion. You're gonna add a device. With Windows, you're gonna go with the top option to look for something. So, and then it pops up as 8BitDo arcade stick connecting. And now it is connected. This arcade stick is fully functional now. So done. So again, not using a dongle. Now this dongle gives you Bluetooth or wireless connectivity. It's recommended to use this. It's included. This is a $20 peripheral that they sell separately. But the connection is live. So this acts as a guide button, the blue one. You hit that. And, you know, it responds as if you were hitting a guide button with an Xbox controller. So it brought up the Steam overlay. So I'm gonna load up an emulation game and just get some quick gameplay, and then we'll test the connectivity with the dongle just to see how it is. 2.4, all right? This is CVS1 that we have loaded up using a Naomi emulator. So it's arcade perfect. This game gave you 2 grooves. You have 4 buttons. Your first 4 buttons are what you used. Depending on the character that you play with, you use the direction to get a certain command. For example, with your heavy button with Ryu, down and heavy would be a sweep, down back and heavy would be a forward. Yeah, there's definitely some lag there with the Bluetooth connection. Yeah, as I said, it's like I'm literally playing a game online, and this is just local. So gonna go back to different connection. We're gonna try to plug up the USB dongle and go 2.4, see how that works for us. All right, so first things first, I would encourage you to remove this from its Bluetooth frequency, because this does actually have a battery. Again, this is not plugged in or anything to a power bank or nothing else. So I'm gonna plug this USB flash drive like device into my computer. That's connected. On the stick, we're gonna switch it over to 2.4 gigahertz. Windows automatically tells me this device is set up, ready to be used. And now it's telling me it's setting up the controller. So just getting drivers set up. I haven't plugged this to my physical computer to put any drivers or anything on it. So Windows 10 does a pretty damn good job if you got stable internet to get you all connected and get you everything that you need going. All right, now we got this loaded up using the USB dongle. Had to remap buttons because it was Bluetooth, now it's X input. So far it feels more fluid. Now you can also use this dongle that I plugged in as a Bluetooth transmitter too. So you would use that as your Bluetooth device versus the motherboard Bluetooth. Like I said, you take as much stress off your internal computing components as possible. All right, so get into this game and see if I can do basic commands. Oh yeah, smooth. Yeah, this is tight. I mean, wirelessly, this thing is playing great with the dongle. Get another round in. Nice. All right, yeah. So that's pretty fun. So this thing works really good wirelessly. Like I said, it's battery inside the unit. It's not directly connected, and it works perfectly with this dongle. Like, I'm sure there's some latency there, obviously being wirelessly connected, but the dongle, especially if you got it placed in front, you don't have it hidden or anything like that, you shouldn't have that bad of a connection issue. So I'm gonna do a direct connect, just plug it in just to see how that feels, see if it feels any better. All right, for the last means of connectivity, the 2.4 gigahertz is not plugged in. We are directly connected using the USB-C that goes into this spot, right? I provided cables about 10 feet long, maybe 8 feet, something like that. Just push that back, makes it where you don't have to concern yourself with the cord coming out. The other end is gonna plug to the computer, right? You are going to set the stick for X input also. If you set it for switch, it's gonna register as a pro controller. So if you're playing like some Nintendo emulation or something, you might wanna do that. But if you're playing like Steam games, I'd encourage you to just put it on X input. Configure, everything should be configured the way it needs to be. So I'm gonna fire up this emulator again, and we're gonna play some Capcom versus SNK 2. CVS 2, we're gonna play arcade version of this game. So I've already got everything mapped out in the emulator. Previously that was set up, and so everything's gonna be the same. The connection with the dongle, great. With the Bluetooth, not so good, but with this thing, it was solid, man. Very convenient to play wirelessly. The cool part about this is when you have this plugged in, it's actually charging the internal battery too. So it's an arcade game, you gotta insert coins. Got some coins inserted, so. Oh, this game takes me back, man. All right, so let's just let's go Terry. Let's go Geese and Yamazaki. Ooh, got a ratio 3, ratio 1 mix going on. Geese first, Terry second. Rog. Able to do like the tiger knee motions. Oh, got the raging storm from a trip. This thing works. No sound was sticking, still got that shit off. Ooh, yeah, this thing is working. This is nice, man. Let me close this out and give you guys my thoughts on this stick. All right, so we're back where we started. This is the conclusion of this. This is where I'm gonna give you my honest talking points about the stick. Throughout the video, you've seen me modify this thing to some degree, there's more work that can be done. If you have the skill set to solder, if you have the equipment, you can definitely put a nice stick in here, an actual physical stick, something better than what's in here. Although this is not unplayable. This is better than anything we played with on an arcade cabinet back in the day. I'll tell you that. Easy to do commands like Raging Storm, that move you see me do with Geese Howard in the previous clip when he holds his arms up and then he goes down, right? That's down back, quarter circle back, down forward, right? So to be able to execute that from a sweep is pretty damn tough, right? And you know, used to be able to do it on the American old school sticks that were long and stiff. These Japanese sticks, the style of them very short. It makes it a lot more simplistic once you get the hang of it. This stick retails for 90 bucks. That's the retail cost on this thing. What are you getting out the gate with this is a great platform. There's a $20 adapter included. They sell that product for $19.99. That's the retail cost for that USB dongle. So if the wireless functionality is something that would speak to you, then that's definitely what you want to do. On the flip side, I would encourage strongly you're replacing the buttons that came with the stick. I didn't even need to fire it up to be able to feel that these wouldn't have worked well for me. So the buttons that I put in there are going to be better. How much do these cost? About $2.50 a piece. So it comes out to be about $20. So again, you're getting a $20 dongle, but in my personal opinion, you're going to want to invest 20 bucks into putting some hardware into this. I do plan on taking this a step further by putting an actual soundless stick in here. So you can throw in another 30 bucks or so there. But the end results is that you'll have a stick that's very small, very light. I love the way this feels as far as comparing it to the stick that I stole the parts out of. That stick was a little thicker. I liked it back in the day, but now I wouldn't really want to play with that on my lap. This being thinner, like smaller in its presence, I welcome this, as well as if I had like a real flat surface to play this on, like tabletop, this would be almost perfect for me because this stick, small in dimensions, and it gives you more space between the buttons versus the stick that I took the buttons out of. I explained that earlier, how that was something that you can kind of compare. Would I recommend this? I definitely would. For $90, like, it's a no-brainer. And to be honest with you, if you're not as picky as I am with fighting games, understand I used to play fighting games for money. I used to hustle with fighting games, play in tournaments, traveled a little bit, had a good time doing that. So, you know, my taste of my cup of tea is going to be a little unique, but your average Joe, your average consumer is going to be happy as heck with this thing. So for 90 bucks out the box, you got something that you're going to be able to play on your arcade. On your Nintendo Switch for any of the arcade titles, and also on your Windows platform, like wirelessly or wired. This thing is nice. It's hard to argue if you can find something better for the money. I do plan on continuing my reviews of arcade sticks. And if you guys have any questions about this thing, let me know. I will consider doing an updated review once I get around to the soldering piece, because I do have an arcade stick. I think I've said it 2 or 3 times in this video already. We've got a project coming up pretty soon with me completely doing an arcade stick. All I have is the shell, and we're going to find the buttons and the sticks, and we're going to do that. So that's going to teach us how to solder in my house. I'm also going to utilize that same skill set to upgrade this. So I'll revisit this at some point. But if you guys got any questions in the meantime, leave them in the comment section. I will respond to them, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Max love.